And on 3, 2, 1, yo, 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 to the go, go, go. Hi, everybody. This is Beauty Bubble for Bitcoin Moving. It's Sunday afternoon. I had to, I had to go live. We are once again, guys, we are at just these parabolic moves, right? After the last Fibonacci swing, the passing the 11,484.42 level, stalling out at the 1700 level, and here we are taking another push towards 12,000. Now we understand there's some issues here with this trend line, and that's probably what it's kind of hoovering up to, but if it does go beyond that and we get support, then of course we're looking at 12,000. I can't miss that, bringing that to you live. And we'll zoom in the chart. We'll do a tick by tick in just a moment. Maybe I'll even change the name of the event to tick by tick. Not too sure exactly what I should do, but yeah, I'll go in because we're looking at the hour chart right here. So we'll go into the 30-minute bar so you can kind of see. This original channel was built a long time ago. As a matter of fact, I'll move it back. The cool thing about TradingView is that you can't, unless you fib, you keep your trend lines intact. And so what we did here was that we took this low to the swing low, we copied that, and then we brought it up here. Okay, so you'll notice we copied the support line and we brought it up here. So you'll notice we started here, and then because it's a copy, so it's a pure channel. Cool thing about this particular channel is that we decided to keep it on because it's a pretty strong channel. The bust to move, of course, these are parabolic times that you bust a channel, it came through the channel, it held on to the halfway mark of the prior Fibonacci. Lots of cool things that were happening here in this bust throughout the channel, comes back in, retests, etc., etc. Okay, lots of different things going on with this, all this mess right in here. However, the channel slices through, so we now know that the channel is re-engaged. Channel comes down through to the 243, picks up the 243, so now we really know the 243 is registering. We get hit with some resistance from the underbelly of the channel, breaks through channel, doesn't have enough, comes back through, support becomes resistance, which is where we have been. We spent a lot of time here in that lollygag until eventually we came through, and all the way through the channel to when resistance became, I always get this, ooh, there we go. Pardon me, hold on just a moment. We're making the house chili right now, which is in the cookbook, and I'll talk about the cookbook in just a little bit. And sometimes when the vegetables are being sizzled, there's a little bit of a flare or atomizing of the oils and the natural peppers and onions and that sort of thing. So sometimes they'll waft through. It doesn't matter where we are in the house. They'll waft through, and then I get caught off guard, and so then I become the coffee in the house. Okay, so anyway, not to labor anyone that follows these channels, and everyone has had a channel that is sort of similar. Maybe they have a larger channel, I don't know. But you're always looking for confirmation of the channel because now it's becoming, very old. However, we have resistance at support, and now we have resistance trying to break through up here. Okay, so there's resistance and support. So there was resistance at support and now support at resistance. Okay, that's what we're looking for, to hold, and then we get another power move, and then we'll be in the $12,000 range. And I'll go into the 15-minute bar, and then we'll make sure that we're over at Twitter. We'll pop out our chat. and get ourselves over to YouTube too. So this is where we're at right here, you guys can see. And the trade is at 11,867. I just think Sunday afternoon we can handle an hour on YouTube and just talk about a variety of topics and see what's up coming up on deck this coming week, and talk about some new channels that are on YouTube that I think maybe you guys want to follow and that sort of thing. Just kind of take it easy and let price just do its thing. All right, so let's go over to the event itself and see where we're at. And I'll take all that off. Tweet activity. Head back over to Twitter. There's always so many steps to do. So there's our current stream. Take a copy of that. And then I'll come over to the event. And welcome everybody here. And just so that you know, my chat is always popped out and put as a comment down below. So any links that we put together or any instruction that I put out and I type out in chat is actually, it's not ephemeral, it actually goes as one full packet over to G+, and then I put it in a link, which is down in the comment section, so which is kind of cool. I think it's cool anyway. It kind of works for us. And then we'll do a registration of Nightbot. And then maybe today will be the day that I actually grab all of the trader rules and make sure that they're made part of the chat history. And then all you, here we go. All you will take us to the alias to make sure we have Bitcoin Fibonacci rule signal support, and then the hashtag, sorry, / red circle. We're just doing this to make sure that the Nightbot is still picking up. And the / green heart. There we go. All right, I think we'll change these up too, the way that those read out. I'm not so happy with those. Trades at $11,773 now. We are saddling the support line, I'm sorry, the resistance line, which is kind of getting some violation. So we'll see, make sure that it can hold up. If it doesn't, then of course we can see what its future is. It will fill in. Don't know why it would decide to do that just right now, but let me go ahead and put myself on mute for just a moment. Close some doors here. Because I'm just on my laptop mic, so we're picking up all that sort of noise. Okay, so we read that spot on. I hope that you guys are following how that sort of works when you have a good trend line. This sort of resistance can really be very telling. Of course, we came on because we were thinking, well, you still have to wait. You have to always wait for confirmation. So let's see if they're just stop hunting. They could be like they were doing over on the left side of the channel. You'll notice there, pardon if I'm in my screen share. So you guys can actually see. Let's get worked out. I don't know where's the chart? Oh, there's the chart. Okay, hold up. Okay, so you can see the stop hunt here. We don't know. We have 6 minutes left in the 15-minute bar. We go a little tighter just to see where was the collapse. We did have a doji. This can sometimes be the beginning of a reversal. However, it was at support. So there might be something coming in for news. I haven't received anything, or it just might be just the weight of the move up, and people are taking advantage of coming in to sell right underneath the $12,000 mark. So this is not a bad idea to do, and we could actually measure this short. It's called a stop hunt. And so they're getting some people out. The thing is that I'm not getting, in fact, why don't we go over to the tweet deck? Let's see what we've got over there, because obviously something big is happening. I'm glad that I went ahead and came on. You just don't know, especially when you're at these levels, you don't know what we're looking at. And that's why we try and go live. And there it is, prices filling in the entire channel as we discussed. And let's see what will happen at the bottom of the trend line. There's a few things that can happen. If the trend line is a good one, it can provide some support. If it's not a good one anymore, I mean, if it's just not registering, there's no algo, there's no bot that's registering that trend line, then we will continue to stair step. We might have a little bit of volatility still inside of the channel for a little bit, and then the shorts might go ahead and latch, what we call latch, and then take us all through the EMAs. Over at our tweet deck, yes, Twitter is going insane over here. 53,000 liquidation, 41,000, these are all contracts, guys. 263,000 contracts liquidated, 22,000 contracts liquidated. Looking for the larger, 572,000 contracts liquidated. These are all long liquidations. 3,093,000 contracts liquidated long. So of course, 1,536,000 liquidated longs. So someone was up here trying to scalp, probably scalp the move maybe, or maybe they had those numbers up there. I'm not really too sure what the psychology would have been to have 1 million contracts liquidated, 228,000 liquidated, 100,000 liquidated. So, I mean, some of these numbers, the million contracts, 1,052,000 contracts liquidated, 263,000 contracts liquidated. So this is a real interesting dilemma. So let's see what we can do to manage the move. So we can see that the close of the wick, the close of the bar right now is holding up, meaning that the support line of the channel is below the close. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see that on your chart or not. If you have a channel that's anything like this whatsoever, that's what needs to have happen. In which case, this was a massive play to do stop hunts, and very, very risky for the players that were involved in this to go ahead and, I don't even know what you'd say, throttle or, seek and destroy. Some of the words that are being used are beyond godlike. Let me see what else. A lot of Beyond God likes. Times 12, times 42. Yeah, I mean, that's all. That's as much as they can say is it's Beyond Godlike, and the TweetDeck is going mad. Okay, so I want to thank you for stopping by the Bitcoin Moving Sunday afternoon. I wasn't really too sure. You could sense it, though, that, something was about to happen. Of course, my hopeful mind is that we were at a tender place where we could easily get to the 12,000. It's right there. But you can see that there's opportunistic trading going on, and here we are. So we're filling in the channel. The close, the support line of the channel is supporting the close. The trade is at $11,435.94. And yes, we're still part of a coughing house, but we're getting better. And thank you for your well wishes. We are getting better. And I think the next thing maybe we'll try and do, of course, we're off. We were up on the session nicely. We're still up 4.97% on the session, but not a pretty bar to be involved in. Very, very scary, especially for an early long. If you had decided to go ahead and scalp, and that's what it sort of feels like to me. I'll have to look at some of these numbers. The million contracts were liquidated at 11,284. I mean, that's there was a lot of money in that trade. 11,284, 1,100,000 contracts liquidated. I'm not too sure about the trade management on that one. That doesn't seem quite right to me. But we'll keep the chart up just to see how it's going to resolve with 31 seconds left in the 15-minute bar. BTC USD Coinbase pair on Ruby. Okay, what else? What else? All right, let me check and see what else is going on over at my social channels. Yes, yes, yes. I'm going to also thank some of the newer followers too, and how much I appreciate that. I know that I've been doing a little bit of marketing, as it would be, with the hashtags, but I think that it's working. There's something that's working. We crossed over the 9,000 lifetime watch list, which I'm super grateful for, and thankful to the replay viewers that stop by. And I'm open to any suggestions that the viewer might have about what I know at the bottom of this is that anyone that's watching the trade, of course, if you come and watch, what you really want to know is how, Beauty Bubble make me money. We did a hashtag, Beauty Bubble make me money. And I get that. And I have a full disclaimer as well on most of my other material. I'll make sure that it goes into the description today because of this particular move. But I come onto YouTube for entertainment and educational purposes only, and clearly, and now that the trade is really where it's at, clearly the level of risk requires you to seek out professional financial advice. Please listen to me when I say that. You need to have your own professional financial advisor, someone that is familiar with this product, someone that's familiar with your risk model, someone that's familiar with the amount of time that you have to invest in learning about the trade. All of those things, the reading that you have to do, the watching of the charts you have to do. There's so much involved in this, and my disclaimer is about, it takes about 12 minutes to read it because I really think that it's very important that you understand how serious this trade is. And I know that there's quite a few people out there that, that have come maybe from the world of poker or even gamers that, and they've made money maybe through their gaming life. This is not a game, and this is not a poker table. Please, please, please. It doesn't matter. You can go to your local college and ask to speak to, someone that teaches accounting, and sit down with them and try and find yourself a mentor. And then, of course, the next thing is that you really should be paying for professional financial advice. I mean, it's just really, really simple like that. And this is why a lot of people have decided to go, paywall, because then it's an equal relationship, If you were to pay me, then I, owe you. And if you were to pay me, you have to sign up under my requirements. We go into a contract of sorts. I'm saying if you were to, and on the advice side of things. So it's a very serious relationship that you would have with a financial advisor. So understand that when I come onto YouTube, that it is for entertainment and educational purposes only. So as much as I would like to hashtag beauty make me money, that would give me a lot of joy if that was really the case. But what you might be able to get from even following my channel on YouTube is that there's something that can happen with price, and what you do with that information comes from experience. It's not just guttural. It's not just. I mean, you can have a natural talent. Sometimes that talent can be stretched, though, when the market hands you something that you're very unfamiliar with, or you don't have a risk model that can accept these changes, such as the one that we're experiencing right now. So, don't ask me why, I decided to go live when I went live. I mean, it looked like, we were waiting for support to prove out. And clearly the market decided, well, guess what? That isn't how it's going to be. And so is it fortuitous, if you follow me and, this whole kind of, there's some people that have a feel for the market, some people that don't have a feel for it. You always have to have a great chart in front of you. It doesn't have to be mine. And if you followed me throughout the years, you know that I've often said that you do not have to have my chart. Just have a good chart, have some sort of a plot, a price plot in front of you that you understand, that you can converse with other people about, to assemble your thesis. And we all have to do this, whether you're in the minute, whether you're depth of market, whether you are a monthly trader. It doesn't matter. To have a relationship with your peers so that you can have these open conversations about what you're seeing is very important, and it's exciting. It's fun, and there's a lot that you can learn. And some of these friendships have been going on now for years and years. So that's an idea. Back to the TweetDeck. We have not had a liquidation for now 9 minutes. 228,000 contract liquidation at 11,339. So it's slowing a little bit. It's just that these numbers are just insane. Holy moly. Let me get my link over to someone here. All right, we'll probably migrate the topic in just a few minutes. We'll wait and see what's going to happen in the next, what time is it? It's at about the top of the hour, which is in just 8 minutes or so. We'll go ahead and change the topic a little bit so that I can address some ideas and concepts that we have to help the YouTube and Facebook content creators that I'm playing around with some things that I'm kind of got my ear to and might be helpful. So I wanted to address a couple of topics there, and I have some people that are listening. And what I'll do is that I'll cover a couple of things too, like why did I change my banner? How important is all of this artwork and all of this effort that we put to YouTube if YouTube is shutting down channels and demonetizing us? And what do we do, and can we learn anything from some of the larger channels to know how to survive? I'm I'm insignificant. I would be called like I'm almost shadow muted, so tiny. And it's very difficult. It's not so hard to find me. It's hard to, like I can tell you how to find me, but I would be hard to be found. Just as a natural kind of, just searchability and all of that. Yeah, I can tell you how to find me, right? But that's like, there's a great party that I want you to go to, and it's down that road, I think. Like just look for the valet and you'll know where you are. And I mean, yeah, I mean, I could I could say all of that, but the fact that if you don't know the area, you're not going to be exposed to my content, and YouTube's not helping. And so in a way, I'm hearing things that maybe we can help one another just be more curious about some of the things that we can do. And I'll go into that in a few minutes at the top of the hour. Because I love talking about it. It's one of my, just in love with the subject. How do you market? What is marketing on these social channels? How do you do it well? How do you do it alone? When, the how, the to whom, who do you listen to? How do you trust your own, gut? Maybe you don't have any intuition with these things, or the time to evaluate how others are approaching it. So it's more psychology than anything for me. I'm fascinated with people, how people need to figure some of this out. That I'm fascinated by. Because there's a big difference. YouTube is not a fraternity. Facebook is a fraternity. I was reminded by one of the Bitcoiners who's very much for privacy, and I'll go into my trading rules too before the top of the hour. And he is so he's so fueled up about privacy. I'm like, okay, that's good. I mean, you want someone that's on that other spectrum of privacy. I'm right there with him. He's just extremely vocal about it, okay? And we're talking extremely vocal. I don't want to share the YouTube channel about how vocal he is about privacy and who has the right to his personal identifying information, etc. So I'm over at my Twitter, and sure enough, I see there he is at an event sharing the school that he went to with all of his school chums, the entire college. And I'm saying to myself, dude, I thought that you were the privacy geek. And then you can't have, if you've been part of a fraternity, there is no privacy. This is the curious thing about Facebook. And a lot of us already kind of understand how Facebook works, but at some point in time, you can hold the ideal of privacy. You can do everything that you can. You can ask even people to be kind about, your identifying information, but you can't keep people from it. But this guy actually went over to Twitter and showcased a picture with all of his friends, telling everybody what school he went to. That means that he only exposed himself. He exposed everybody else that was in the picture. And it's like, I was like, oh my gosh. Oh, wow. This one person that I thought that I could go to if I ever had a privacy question, if I ever really felt like, okay, where is it in our code that, that we should protect our privacy and have that be okay? Like, where is that? And man, it's not like I don't respect him or anything, but still, it's like, wow, how quickly. See, the fraternity can quickly get you to forget. It's very much like having too many drinks. You quickly forget certain certain rules in your life. And getting onto rules, I'll go over to the Nightbot and make sure that we put in all the rules that should be on timed posts with the Nightbot. But we are trading inside of the channel. Isn't that something, how that works? And so, this is not so bad. We had said earlier we might see some volatility inside of the channel. However, if the shorts really want to take this, if they want to do some more heat-seeking damage, they can do it, and then they'll just literally step it down all the way. They'll go through, all of the EMAs will be violated, people. And we knew that when we broke 10,000, and you can see the 243 is right there. So 243 comes to the 10,000, and that can act like a hoovering effect. And the shorts will just love it. They'll lap it up because everyone will be like, holy moly. We were almost at 12,000. I'm not going to lose any of that. I don't want to go through another retrace because it will have been, as far as like major price levels, not in percentages, but price level retraces. Well, we've been through, we're tired. What do they say? Mommy's tired. And it gets, it's very difficult to explain to your family. What are you doing exactly? Why? Who would do that? Who would stay in a trade when the trade, has lost 30%, 22%, 8% in 3 minutes? I mean, so we know how wacky the trade is to begin with. And then here we are at $11,350, just coming so close to 12,000. I'll get a print on that in just a moment. Okay, we're at the top of the hour, but I do want to do the Nightbot. And we started doing the Nightbot work a couple of weeks ago, and it was gorgeous for us. And it was so cool for us. It really worked nicely, and then it started to act funny, even like right now, it wants me to log in. And our top command right now is rules. So that's very cool. All right, so we have some timed enabled posts. And the first one, which should come at the 5-minute marker, reads that. Trader rules. Let me talk about this. Remain alert. I want you to eat well and always hydrate. I'll just start with the one, remain alert. I have spent days with traders, and we are on the, literally, we are right there. We have hunted a trade. It's just about staying alert. And I'll say, are you still there? Are you still there? I have had one trader where I actually heard his head drop into a pizza box. And I really got after him for that, because you have to remain alert. If you cannot remain alert, if you cannot manage your day to remain alert, just don't, the trade's not for you. That's just all there is to it. This is not a sleeper's game. This is not a lazy man's game at all. Okay, so you have, first rule, this is trader rule number 1, remain alert. But that means alert in all parts of your life. Don't do rolling stops at stop signs. Help people, grab a shopping cart when you see it, the wind has caught it and it's about to, go across the parking lot. Do things that engage your alertness. A full-length mirror. This is a wonderful tip. Full-length mirror. Lean it up against the wall. I don't care where it is. Get yourself a great big mirror. Lean it up against the wall and be alert. Have that 360 view of yourself. Be alert of your body language, your hand gesturing, your tempo. This is one thing about YouTube that's so brilliant, is that you can actually learn a tremendous amount about yourself and become alert about who you are and where you are. Eat well. A lot of this has to do with stop eating out of cardboard, stop eating out of paper bags. Please, please, do yourself a favor. Eat well. And there's a great guy, I don't know if you follow him or not, but he does this whole fasting thing. He believes in eating and fasting. And there's paleo guys, there's people that are constantly talking about what eating well means. And a lot of times eating well means start cooking for yourself. Stop eating out of cardboard. Get rid of them. We're talking about the cereals too. Stop eating out of cardboard and begin to cook for yourself. And a lot of things can change. And then hydrate. You must. One of the cool things that I'll put her link down below. I met her through the live streaming life, and she's actually made part of the 91 predictions for 2018. It's this great collage of predictions for live streaming content creators for next year. And her name is Leslie Nance. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And she gave a piece of advice that, oddly enough, I've been doing, I've been always doing something like it, but the way that she put it was that 8 to 12 ounces of tepid water in the morning before you do anything. And if you'll notice, like you can go through old movies and you'll notice that there is drinking water next to the bed. And she wants you to drink 8 to 12 ounces of tepid water before you do anything. And in fact, look at that. Livestream Universe is here to say, hi, Livestream Universe. These guys, I'm telling you, follow them here on YouTube. Fantastic outreach on Facebook, of course, on their Twitter too. And that is Mr. Ross Brand of Livestream Universe. He's actually the creator of the 91 predictions. Remember, in the market we talk about projections, but he is a happy fellow that he can actually go to these incredible minds, and he does this 91 predictions. It's really, really, really cool. And he's adopted Leslie Nance's wise words to do this one thing, and it's amazing. And so anyway, that's what, and always hydrate. This has been a rule that, I've had for many, many years. It's just it's so important. Another thing is that they say is that by the time you're thirsty, you are already dehydrated. It's already happened. The damage is already happening in your body. So by doing that in the morning before you do anything, apparently gets this whole kind of hydration, because overnight, when you're not hydrating yourself, you're going anywhere between 5, 6, 8, maybe 10 hours of no hydration. And you have to rehydrate your body. It's really, really important to do. Okay, there we go on the trader rules. Trader rule number 2, we'll get through these pretty fast. Trader rule number 2 is never disclose your position size or your contract size ever. So let me talk about this. There is a lot of ego involved, and you can even see over at the BitMEX Rec, right? We're talking about people's contract sizes. I mean, because it's part of their API, and you can strip it away from the API. Now, you don't know who these individuals are, so it's a little different here. But the API is disclosing public a position size. Now, imagine if that was your position size. What would you really feel about that? If that was going out to, I have to see the BitMEX rect and how many clients they have, because it goes inside the API. So even their Twitter is not going to help us too much. They have 5,993 followers. Okay, and then they put emoji and they put all this, poetic language around it and everything else. And what will happen inside of forums is that that sort of attitude will come to you directly, specifically, personally. I don't want that to happen. Never disclose your position size, okay, or your contract size, ever, to anybody. It's none of their business, nor should it be any of their business. Meaning it should have nothing to do with charting, chatting, and connecting with people in Bitcoin forums and on the internet. Nothing whatsoever. And it's not about sitting in rooms where people have, there's a fellow this afternoon who had to sit in a room with someone else. He has 1 million contracts on the line on XBT, 1 million contracts, and you can see the price. So this is no joke. So whether it's one contract, a half a contract, a little piece of dust, it doesn't matter. Your trader rule number 2 is never disclose your position size or your contract size ever. And if you go to some of the forums, you'll hear now more often, I would prefer not to disclose that. And you can even hear the snickering in the background. Sometimes the other guy will say, "Oh, geez, dude, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to pry," and then that's okay. But you'll hear some snickering about, "Oh, he's so this or she's so that or whatever," and all this. Don't listen to any of that. Now, how this works in your other part of life is it has to do with trying to kind of bring the ego down. There's so much more you can learn if you don't disclose so much about your personhood, And anyway, so that's the never disclose your position size or your contract size ever. I'm not in a position right now to share like all the reasons why you might not want to do that, but a good one would be, maybe how many wives you've had. I don't know. How many jobs you've had in the last, couple of years. All that, that sort of thing. Thanks, Ross. Okay, the next rule is trader rule number 2, and this is where we were. I had redone this one, but it's not reading right, so that's why we know. Okay, trader rule number 3, but I do have to rewrite the last part of this. Trader rule number 3, maintain your privacy above all cost. Maintain your privacy above all costs. Do whatever you can to maintain your privacy. Remember, you are a trader to use the internet, to use the tools of the internet, not to be used by internet tool trolls. Remember, as a trader, we all use the internet, but that is not an entree or a ticket for others to troll you. And I've heard this before from people. You're on the internet. What do you expect? And the thing that's really clever about the answer is that I don't expect anything except for it to work. Okay? If it doesn't work, then there's a problem. But a troll is at work to make sure that my internet doesn't work, and in different ways. Personality, they shame you, they shun you, they bother you, they stalk you, they insult you, they take your voice and rework it and put it out on SoundClouds. So that's when it doesn't work. Okay, and you're really only here to use the internet, for the internet to work for you. Please understand, there's no rule that says because we're on the internet that means that we've opened ourselves up to be trolled to death. So fight it back. Maintain your privacy. Maintain yourself best you can, and use the internet well. And I'm talking to the troll themselves too. Let the internet friggin' work. I mean, and we'll get into the YouTube, what's happening over at YouTube, and why maybe, and really kind of how we're treating each other. And a couple of events ago, I was talking about how the Bitcoiner treats each other on Twitter, and let's just let the internet do its job. And I want to say the same thing about the Bitcoin. Let Bitcoin do its job. Let whoever are the custodians do their work in peace. These are smart people. Let's stop trolling each other if we can. Let's just do that. And give that a try, because in my opinion, the troll has done it, and only done to serve harm. Okay, and everyone knows my motto is to make money to do good. That's my motto. I want to hear some of the trolls' mottos, besides the fact that they want to use foul language against basically anybody and everybody. And they're great flip-floppers. So we can talk more about that another time. Trader rule number 4. I love this one. Well, of course, I love all my rules because I try and follow them. I wouldn't want to. You should all have a passel or a basket of rules for yourself that you like. Don't have rules that you don't like because you won't follow them, okay? Let's just have rules that you like. Trader rule number 4. When hearing the woes of others, be on high alert. There are Bitcoins lost to cons every day. I got hacked. I don't feel well. I don't have any money to travel. I don't have gas money. Why don't you get involved in this nonsense or whatever, because this is going to blow minds and create a new this and that and the other. Rule number 4, when hearing the woes of others, be on high alert. That's all. You guys get to do with your coins whatever it is that you're going to do. But just so that you know that there are Bitcoins that are lost to cons every day. And a big one is anyone that has served or dished up a health concern for Bitcoin donations, and then there is no follow-up. And we're talking about, I could show you an account, $108,000 in Bitcoin donations for headaches. Think about that for just a moment. That's another clever thing about Bitcoin is that, see, I don't have to share anything because it's all on the blockchain. I don't mind the blockchain sharing what the story is, what the history is. That's what it's supposed to do. It's doing its job when it does that. But if I donate to that piece of history for migraines, and then I never hear whether or not your migraines, I'm air quoting the migraines because, by the way, I don't bring you my woes. I might bring you my foes, that I have on the internet, my rants, right? I'm going to row you down the river with some of my ideas. But as far as my woes, my health concerns, or my family's health concerns, or anything of that nature, I don't bring to you. I'm not too sure that it belongs on the blockchain, right? Because there's no reference, right? All you know is that you've received these donations, and for what? For what? So that I don't, and I'm just going to say there are Bitcoins that are lost to cons every day. Now, when those Bitcoins were being donated, maybe they were, $12.50. Okay, and you were like, whatever, I'm just going to toss, I'll toss some Bitcoins his way. I'll toss some Bitcoins his way. You do this now, okay, those million contracts, for example, are a hospital wing at Henry Mayo to cure migraine headaches for people that live in inclement weather, whatever, I mean, we're talking about can help and fuel research. That's how powerful this is. So we give it away to air quote help because we heard the woes of someone else. Be very careful about that. I think that some of these things should be organized. There is something called Pink Coin, but man, they've been getting a lot of hate. So I don't know what the real answer is. I do wish that more confirmed arenas, such as, I guess, the GoFundMe would be one. I mean, there are confirmed Susan Komen. There are other places where we can donate, but we can't donate in Bitcoin. So I guess I could say something like this, listen, unless you want to sell your Bitcoin, convert that into fiat and then send that on, really think about, spending your Bitcoin on the woes of others, because there are more Bitcoins that are lost to cons every day. And that's a sad affair. Okay, subscribe. If you're still watching, are you guys still watching? Leave a like. Here, let me see if you guys are actually going to do this, because now I'm too long. I'm 53 minutes in and I've asked for my first like. Gee, that's not right. I don't know anything about social marketing now. So I'm 53 minutes in, and if you're still around and you're sticking around and you enjoy just kind of spending a little bit of time with me and the series that I'm doing called Bitcoin Moving Sunday afternoon, it just so happens that, yes, guess what? I power up and the market moves. What can I say? Go ahead and give me a thumbs up, because that's what YouTube likes for you to do. And so give me a thumbs up. Let me see, what else am I supposed to ask you to do? I am supposed to ask you to, every view is counted. Oh yeah, every view is counted. Okay, check this out. My channel on YouTube is going after what's called the 10,000 lifetime viewer count. 10,000 lifetime viewers, I can actually get my globe, my monetization globe back. Now, what does that really mean? It just means that I'm ticking off the boxes on YouTube. That's it. We were monetized before, and then when it went through the whole apocalypse, and that's why we're going to talk about how to use YouTube and Facebook kind of together, is that you have to have 10,000 lifetime views, and last night we hit 9,000. So I want to thank all the replay viewers that do come into the stream, because you actually get counted by YouTube. I don't even have to do anything. You get counted towards the lifetime viewer count. So obviously I appreciate you very much for your time and interest in the topic. You can't go anywhere now without it being front page, or at least in the first 3 pages of any newspaper, without seeing an article about Bitcoin. And if there's anything that what you might be able to get out of my channel is resources to other content creators, because I talk a lot and support them over at my Twitter. So you could even follow my Twitter and kind of do things on the, like that. You do it however you do you, as they say. All right, so, and then this is how the donation part works. And I'm just running through. I'm not making any excuses for anything, but this should be a timed post too. I'll tell you when I put that timed post out. That timed post comes at the 30-minute mark. And your support does matter to me. And now, because Bitcoin has gone to where it is actually possible for people to donate what's called dust, and really just micro amounts of Bitcoin, whatever seems reasonable to you. And I have a great story about my very first piece of Bitcoin, my very first dust that I ever got. And we call them donations. It's a very common deal to call them donations with Bitcoin. You can call them all sorts of other things, though. Donations, support, cups of coffee. They've been called before. So, thank you. I know, it's fantastic. I opened up the channel this morning. I was at, maybe even have been, this morning, I think. And it had been 9,000. And I was like, holy shamoly, look at that. Who would have ever thought? Because after 8 years, towards the end of January, on YouTube, do the math. And especially do the math on where I've been with the trade, right? So, I mean, the whole thing is just pretty silly, right? The math, there's something that's not right about the math. And if there's something not right about the math, then that means that you really have to, take a memo. There's something, exactly, you just have to stay with it. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. And then the last bit that is supposed to come out at 31 minutes, so I probably need to even redo the timer. This is what comes out, which I think is really cool, is that I let everyone know that I do use most social channels, but if you check the upper right part of the banner, we'll talk about the banner in a moment too, is a list of all of my social channels. And not all of them are kept up to date, and not all of them are mind-blowing writings or anything like that, but that's where they are. And then my DMs are open on Twitter, so you can reach out to me. You'll notice, and also subscribe to be notified. So be all like that. Okay, so the banner. Backstory. Everyone's talking about the adpocalypse on YouTube. I went from the green globe to the golden globe to the night out globe to nothing. Nothing. Now my videos were getting 2 cents. After 8 years, if I go live, I was getting 2 cents. And I was really very proud of that. In fact, I had gone over, I believe it was $11. That's nowhere to be found. I don't know. I could have taken that $11 and I could have actually bought a Bitcoin. First Bitcoin trade was $12.50. So I could have almost paid for a full Bitcoin with that $11. That $11 gone. So after all those years, I had finally amassed $11, and now it's gone. And everybody is talking about, what are we going to do on YouTube? It's not just about the monetization model. It's about recognition, right? Because yes, any of us here, we do this because time is a gift, and we've decided that we'll, in a way, stick our neck out for that we love. And whether we're trying to learn something new or journal, or, a lot of this really is for my family. For my family to hear what was on my mind, to hear my tone of voice, to be reminded maybe of who they are, or the things that maybe they want to aspire to be greater than I was able to give them, something like that. And that YouTube was supposed to be this, for me anyway, a way to recognize, hey, you know what? Like I've had, I was handed a shitty deal, and I thought that I could come to YouTube and prove really to myself None of that matters. Who I am matters. Just like who you are matters. Everyone has something to say. Every voice should be heard. There's this great song that's out there called One Man, One Vote by Johnny Clegg. And Johnny was managed by Denzel Fagelson, and who I met when I was working for Shep Gordon. And he wrote this great song. He's a South African artist. He wrote this great song called One Man, One Vote. And for me, it seems as though each of us so much matter that the fastest way for me to understand that within myself was to just hit that flip cam and go live on YouTube. That's what I did. So I do know that for YouTube to now, I've got some theories about why this is happening, but for YouTube to now decide that it needs to, okay, we're breaking down through the channel now, guys. So the shorts are taking advantage. I'm sorry, I have to move to the chart for just a moment. So what we had talked about with this is that we should go over to make sure, see what's happening, how many more contracts are being liquidated. They may have thought that they could hold on to the channel. That's what it looked like they were trying to do. But what will happen now is that the shorts will really take advantage, and there'll be some sell-offs to the 51 line, which is the magenta line that you see there. That's what's called the money line. This is a very famous line inside of Forex trades. That the 50, what they call the 50 for Ruby, it's the 51. The 51 just worked better, just to let you know. It's not like I was trying to be like super special or anything like that. But there's the 50. Remember, the line that you are seeing is a fixed 60-minute line, but we're able to look at the granular view of the chart. In fact, I'll go a little tighter in so we can actually see this thing break down minute by minute. Go to a 3-minute so you can see. So here is the stability of the hold. So what's happening is that this is a flag pattern here. So you'll notice that there's higher lows and lower highs. Higher lows and lower highs. Let me see if I can quickly draw this for you so you guys can kind of see. I'll do a trend line, not a big one. Let's see if I can do this the way that hold on just a moment. To make sure that I can do this for you guys. So that's a higher low. And on the other side of it, remember I'm just doing something is a lower high. Okay, so some people call this a pennant. And so the pennant comes to a conclusion and then price flushes down, just like it did up here. Some traders will take this move to the base so that they can calibrate how far the short will go down. So we'll do that quickly, because if this helps you guys, for those of you guys that don't like this sort of thing. And we'll take it down to the heel, like that, and then we'll move that to here, and we'll see where we're at. And where are we? We're very close to the 96, which is right here. So that's the potential move if you were to do what's called a measured move. Will take us down here. So we'll see what happens. If you guys want me to keep that up like that, I will. It's on the 3-minute bar. Remember, all the lines are fixed to the 60-minute, so there's no BS going on with that. That's my chart. And we'll see what happens. The trade is at $11,165. We're still up on the session. We are squeezing in, though, on the up to the 2%. If we drop below 2%, which we're just about to do now, we may see a plunge. Nobody wants to lose what they've been thinking that they would get out of the day. 1.8% now down on the session, 7.9% down on the session. Is it going to fight off at the 51? It might. Trade is at $11,120 and dropping. 11,104 cents and dropping. Here we are at the 51.52. No protection there. Trade is still up 1.18% on the session. Okay, there we go. So we have no help, the 51. So we now know we need to still look for confirmation. We have still a minute left in the 3-minute bar. And we're still early on in the 15-minute. So I hope you guys can see how that happened. We took the measured move from the triangular pattern, pennant, flag, it doesn't matter to me, triangle, I don't care what you call it. It's still, it is what it is. As far as price, you get higher lows and lower highs. That's what creates that. We took the measured move so that we can have a clue, some sort of inside. When you talk about insider information, that's about as inside as I can get you guys. All right, let's see where we're at. Oh, thank you for the additional likes. I appreciate that very, very much. Okay, so we just have to let that happen. All right, that's the end of the night bot. Okay, let me get to the topic that I was going to talk to Mr. Brand, and generally to anyone that is interested in knowing what my thoughts are about the different things that we might be able to do to mitigate the suffocation of content creators and how we can still be part of YouTube, because the crazy thing is that we still love YouTube, but what are we supposed to do? I've completely taken out my tags, by the way. I don't have tags on my videos. So I've stripped all of that out, but I am using the description. So let's talk about the use. Let's say you're over at Facebook. You have a great audience over at Facebook. But Facebook has attributes that don't exist on YouTube. One of the attributes is a playlist. If I'm not mistaken, yes, you've got your timeline and people can sort it out and people can kind of look, but you don't, number one, they don't get a robust listening to, right? They don't have a way to, and if you don't go over to SoundCloud or iTunes, they don't really have a way of re-listening. And the pause and stop and note-taking and all of that you can't do over at Facebook. Of course, if you brought that content over to YouTube, they can just natively do that on YouTube with a playlist of your content. But the other thing is that you can do a playlist of your recommended content. And one idea is, in your book recommendations. For Ross with the 91 predictions, of course, it is your content creators. And where people can hear, where you've picked the best of the best, that which you resonate with, and that because your viewer is listening to you because they like you, the likelihood that they'll listen to what you like to listen to. I mean, this is how the telephone game and recommendations and referrals happens in just natural life. So we can't do that on Facebook, from what I understand. You can't do a playbook of someone else's material, although I know that you can put maybe it in the timeline, but it's not organized. So the one thing that you get is that you get organization that is curated. Or here, I'll just say you get to curate. You get to curate. I'll write this down. You get to curate under a playlist, and that's very fluid too. You can segregate the playlist, December, whatever. It can be monthly. It's very easy to redo. You can have them be kind of a global playlist to begin with, and then you can start to kind of curate it. I learned about playlists actually from Bruce. Do you remember Bruce Himmenblau, Ross? Is that how you pronounce his name, Bruce? I think it's Himmenblau, or it was Bruce who, he just loves YouTube. He likes all the hacks in YouTube, So he took a look, he was one of the first people to look at my channel. And he said, well, let's see, do you have playlists? And I'm, playlists? His name is Bruce. Hold on just a moment. Let me see if I can find his name. Let's see, his name is, sorry to keep saying it. Himmelblau. Bruce Himmelblau. Here he is. He still follows me. So funny. He's a full-service Chicago video production, YouTube content marketing strategist, producer, camera editor, video marketing, and SEO. He has a YouTube channel. Bruce Himmelblau. Okay, whoa. So, look at that. Look at the volatility. So he took a look at my channel and he was like, well, you don't have any playlists. I was like, well, what do you mean? Maybe I even had, like I had one, like it was a music list or something, because that's how I was looking at it. Oh, I was taking the word playlist as very literal, instead of it being list of things I recommend or a list of things that I often listen to or that kind of thing. And so recently it's kind of like, well, why wouldn't we have like an audio snippets from some of the authors that we have, right? But I'm talking about live streamers, guys. In fact, the 91, let me toss in the Twitter link to the 91 projections. I think you guys will really enjoy this. I wish that we had something like this for Bitcoiners. I really do. I think it would be really cool. And let me grab. It's going to take me probably just a second here to get into Ross's deal. Okie dokes. Okay, Ross has created, and let me take it from Mike Unplugged. He's like another one of my favorite people on the planet Earth. And this will be made part of the chat archive too, guys, by the way, in case you don't grab it here. So when we look at the 91, it could be actually snippets from their book, from their courses, from even read aloud of what they think with maybe, the link doesn't work, huh? Let's see what else I can do. The link doesn't work. Let me see. Here, this is what I'll do, guys. I'll put Ross's, let me put Ross's Twitter handle. How about your Twitter handle? Are you in mobile? Let's qualify why you couldn't get that link to work. Of course, you might be able to pick up your own Twitter, though. It's interesting. No one has ever said that. But anyway, this is what it's called, guys. Oh, let me grab. Let me take it right into the, this is good to know though, Ross, because you're on a desktop. Okay, so let's make sure that you can get to that one. Because it might be the secure, the Twitter, maybe it's because it's a secure, I don't know. As a moderator, though, I should be able to post whatever I want to. I know, you can't post a web address. That's absolutely right. You can't because you're not a moderator. I don't make nobody no moderator. All right, let me clean up. Yes. Yeah, you can do the @ symbol. Yeah. That you can do, sure. Okay, don't get too crazy now. Okay, what are you doing? What are you doing over at my YouTube channel? Ross, why don't you go ahead and put @Beauty Bubble in there? Huh? Yes, right, the 91 predictions. Okay. So what one could do is kind of bring this alive, right? And because there was a time when you know, all these people were being interviewed by you. And so that's one idea, Ross, definitely. And what we're trying to do is figure out how do you marry the Facebook audience with the tools that are offered at YouTube. Because part of the issue is that, well, why would I come to YouTube if there's nothing, adpocalypse? I don't have the viewership. I don't have the numbers. Why would I even come over to YouTube? And as a caveat, I do have to say that there is a big chance that this is the kind of a feeling that I have, is that the smaller YouTuber eventually will go behind a paywall. And we will just very much like Livestream. What is it called? Livestream.com? That you have to pay. So that's possible because there's just a lot of stuff on YouTube. I mean, a lot of stuff. You throw in like the just in titles MP.4 live, for example, and you'll find all sorts of crazy stuff. If you just put, you know how JPEG files are all numbered? You put a number like that inside of the search engine of YouTube, and you'll find all sorts of stuff. So it's clearly become a depot of nonsense. And we have to make some sense of it as long as it's still around. So one way is that you create a playlist and you start using YouTube as your library, as your depot, because it's just so easy and it flows really well, and it's like super, super easy to manage all of the cool tools that they have like that. Okay, number 2, Casey Neistat today puts out his merchandise video. No ads, and he's gone full balls on merchandise. So when you see Casey Neistat with 8.5 million followers and no monetization on his YouTube video, deciding to go the way of, now it wasn't enough to get bought by CNN, right? Et cetera, right? Incredible brand deals and all of that. But clearly he's being given the advice of someone that in order for you to just post content on YouTube and expect even if that stream of income was going to charity, it's done. He's turned it off. So we have people that have gone over to Twitch, Patreon. They've started Kickstarters, and then now the full-blown merchandise. Now, all the content creators have, in somewhere inside of their content, offered merchandise. But now that it's been like, it's out there now. So there's no reason, and we've seen this over at Facebook, but Facebook is going to get a wise up. There's no reason for any of us not to go ahead and look at YouTube as a mechanism for content creation and your voice to be out there, sharing what you know by using the playlist, so that helps share your curated thinking and your lifestyle with the rest of the world. And 3, really take a good look at merchandise, whether that's courses, books, actual merch, what they call merch, and bring it onto YouTube. And then the 4th one, which is my idea, use the real estate that I have been given to sell advertising on. Yes. So guess what? You guys are like, oh my God, Beauty. No, you did not. Oh no, yes, I did. Everybody wants to break down their YouTube channel and say, oh, you got to work on the thumbnails and you got to figure out your SEO and you gotta, okay? You gotta, and your banner sucks and you got to do all this kind of thing with your banner and everything like that. So you know what I did today? I did. You go to my banner today. Okay. I will thumbs up your next video for anyone that can tell me what my banner reads on the banner. I will thumbs up your next video And of course, I'll talk about it on Twitter too. I'll offer those two things. I'll thumbs up and talk about your next YouTube video if you can tell me what my banner says. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Oh, I need to do better than that then. You guys just gotta do. Oh my God, I have 31,000 Twitter followers. Do you know that if I use a certain basket, you guys are gonna get blown away. If I use a certain basket of hashtags, yes. Okay, so Ross Brand earns my attention. Thank you, Mr. Brand. Next time you go live on YouTube, I will support your channel with a thumbs up, and I will share the time. You know, I'll share the event on my Twitter. How about that? But that's right. That's what it reads now. It's not some kind of like, oh, there's beauty. Oh, there's a chart of Ruby. Oh, there's a cookbook. None of that. No, this banner space is available to advertisers. That's what it is. I'm going to use the real estate that has been given to me to figure this thing out. I'm going to figure it out best I can. It's like I can figure the trade out best I can. Going back to the trade for just a moment. Let me go ahead and get rid of this measured move. You guys already know. Yes, you guys were all here. That measured move actually was not quite the whole deal, but enough of the deal. And then, of course, the trade recovers. It's called self-healing or an advancement off of the lows. Let's go ahead and move this over here. I'll go ahead and get rid of it because you guys know where it came from, right? Now remember, I didn't go, the measured move, if you'll notice, the technique is that you go from the high to the heel low, from the high to the heel low. Some guys will take it from the top, you know, from the top to the heel, and then they'll take that measured move. So we could even look at that. It might have even been here to the 51, but clearly it's moved in a little bit more. Sorry if the screen goes a little wacky. Let me get a tick by tick on this, so then you can kind of see. And these hammers are very bearish. So we get some buyers that come in, and now the bears are coming in to kind of rule this thing. So now we can get an idea. I'll go ahead and, because this has all been stretched out, let me get rid of this so you guys can see. And so we don't know exactly what's going to happen. Clearly, we are not in a full Ruby cross yet. However, you'll notice the railroading here, that's the circle on the solid line, and the solid line here. That's the 8 is the circle, the railroad line, and the 12. The 8 and the 12 are pinched here. This is kind of what's called the Ruby's wallet, where there's a closing in of the 8 and the 12. This is a no trade zone, guys, no trade zone. Okay, price falls out. Once again, the 8 and the 12 are so too closely connected. Even though the trajectory is to the upside, if you could have read that, there's some bots out there that could have read it, then you might have taken the long. This would have been a scalp. It is counter trend. Now, not on the bigger trend, but this is a, you know, obviously we have some problems with the trade staying long. So we'll see. You know, I've been in Ruby where Ruby has flirted with going short, and it won't go short. And but you still have to manage your position correctly so that you're not losing too much. Trade is up 1% at $11,040 right now, so we've really, really taken it hard. Sorry about that. Let's see here. I will go live from Livestream University in the next week. Ross, can't wait a week, dude. Seriously, a week. You know how I feel about these things. I don't know why you don't go live so that I can come and sit on your panel. Oh, speaking of panel, guys, we want to resurrect the Chart Chat Connect. So if you hear me and you want to come on the panel and you just want to come and say hello, or I mean, I'm really open to so many different topics. We can go over some headlines. We can talk about really anything. I'm so curious about most of your lives. I'm fascinated with and curious about. And but because I do the Hangout, it's really easy. You get the Hangout link, and then you can just slip in as long as you've got earbuds. That's all I care about. If I can hear you, I can love you. That needs to be my new motto. Anyway, but that's what I'm doing with my banner. Now, how can you use the banner? Banner is kind of neat because if you are in a scheduled event on the live stream tab on your YouTube, not using OBS, but even though you can do it on OBS, because you could just use the channel art. The banner becomes your channel art, and while you're waiting in the green room, and that green room chat is also your lifeline as you're waiting to go live. So as long as you're in the scheduler to go live, you're still able to talk to your viewers in real time. So, and they get that ad the entire time. So unless they're not participating in chat, or they could have popped out the chat themselves, I suppose, they're looking at, for me, it would be that advertisement. Could be your logo, it could be the last picture that you took, it could be a recipe, it could be directions to the 91 projections, it could be anything, but you're changing your banner to reflect what you are marketing. So that's another thing that I think might be interesting to examine. So there we are. I think we've been on, yes, we've been on for an hour. So I think what might be the smart thing to do, I am learning this about YouTube as well, is that anything after the hour, I believe, if you'll notice, even over at YouTube, if I go over to YouTube right now, it's possible that I've been pushed down, or if I have a competitor that has gone live, I don't stand a chance. No one will find me. So I go over to YouTube to go to Bitcoin Live, and we have, actually we're number 3. Thank you, YouTube. So thank you very much, YouTube. So we have 2 competitors above us with an ad if you go Bitcoin Filter Live. So that is a good showing. I'm going to take a picture of that because I'm pretty proud of that. And so we might get some numbers when we close out. Now, why am I confident to kind of share some of this stuff, right? And talk about marketing and sales and merchandise and so forth? Because I make money to do good. And I wish that I could hashtag make me money beauty, right? And I don't know, hang around. Maybe you'll pick up some things. Maybe you'll start to what I call voice to the charts, and you'll start seeing things. Of course, it should always be the way that you see things, but you can start seeing and getting a feel for, like, why did I know that it was the right time to hit the switch and go live? I can't explain it to you. I can't even quantify it. We could break it down, and I could say, well, the trade had been, on the precipice for the right amount of time, but what does that mean? And I get this a lot, oh, beauty's 8-ball charts. They a lot of guys call it my 8-ball charts, or that I don't make any sense, or that I ramble on and nobody understands. And, you won't understand money until you live it. And if you don't love on it, you'll never live it. You won't be interested in it whatsoever. And if you don't love it, you'll end up being lazy about it. And so nothing that I share with you is ever going to make any difference anyway, because at the core of who you are and where you are, you're lazy because you don't understand the power of what this can do for you, your life, others, people in need that you don't even know. There are so many opportunities to get involved. And I wish that I could have brought all of you along with me. from the beginning, because bringing voice to the charts and Chart Chat Connect, these were very fine ideas about people coming together to understand a little bit about the market. And I do think that everyone, even in the elementary school years, that you should know how to read a chart. You should know what this means. You should know what the left side of the chart means and what the right side of the chart. You should know. I talk to grown people that have engineering degrees that don't know what the trend of the market is. They have no clue. Now, they can put two wires together and build a laptop, or I mean, these are brilliant guys. They look at a chart and they'll go, what am I looking at? What are all these squiggly lines? They'll say to me. So I think that, at some point you have to be interested in money. And I wish it wasn't called money. I wish it was called something completely different that sounded kind and cool and all of that. But I mean, that's all that it is. We're just watching money move. And we're watching the world change. This particular money moving is the world changing. Unlike anything else, the most difficult trade I've ever been involved in. And I wish that I wish I could bring you all along, and so that you would understand what's happening, because it's very exciting. Okay, so let me check back in with Ross and make sure that I've kind of covered. I kind of covered everything. Do you guys want me to? Let me bring the chart out. We'll go ahead and do a Condor's Pass. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the chart up. This is a 3-minute bar. Go to the 5-minute bar so you guys can see how price came straight through the 8 and the 12. It held up. It came back down again, really busted through, and now we're just coiling through the 51. That means that people do not know exactly. They're going to fight it off. And then the 15-minute bar, which is the bar that you see me in most of the time. We actually talked about that bar. This is a support, right? This is a doji on support. Go back and you can listen to the very beginning of the video. This is a doji on support, and this is a very bearish moment in time for price. And of course, the follow through. Insane. Okay, 30-minute bar. Then you can see the channel. Okay, there's the channel. That's what it looked like. It was a hammer, actually. So pretty confusing. So this is why people got caught up in that. You needed to look at the smaller time frames. The 30-minute did not help you with this. And then look at that full bar, just all the way through the channel. Crazy talk. And then we'll go to the 60-minute. Right away, you'll see that the EMAs are all smoothing out so that you can see, and there's the switching of the guard right there where the 12 is above the 8. And that is also a bullish, the bullish momentum has waned, and we're really looking for more follow through. The 243 is just skirting the $10,000 mark, which is sentimental. And I'll take you to a 2-hour bar, and then we'll zoom in. Okay, so simply put, okay, what direction is the trade? Can anyone answer this question for me? Here, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to draw an arrow. Okay, what direction is this trade in right now? I'm going to do a very quick. Let me go back over. What direction is the trade in? Anybody? Okay, so for the replay viewers that get this far, I have a question for you. What direct? This is a trick question. Okay, trick. What direction is the Bitcoin trade in right now? What direction? Okay. All right. So my snark is going to come through. I'm really, really sorry about that, but clearly we're having some problems with the trade right now. The trade has been long. The trade is now, exhausted probably after 11,484. The trade was exhausted or overextended and did everything that it could. Whether people are going to come in at this price point to self-heal the trade and the trade will come back to those higher prints. We don't know that yet, but that's basically all that's happening. 11,484 was the recent high. We're now at $11,010. So people that were holding on for that additional $464, no, I'm sorry, $464. Caution to you. This takes a lot of guts. If you're in it, if you're in it and you're in it for the long haul and you're seeing the numbers where people are talking about, well, people were talking about 12,000 6 months ago. So, but if you're, looking at the $40,000 mark, the $100,000 mark, then I hope that you know exactly what's happened here, right? So this is a sentimental trade. It's a Sunday. We're coming right into the weeks before the market goes live for the legacy players such as myself. So there's going to be some real instability with price up here, and then it's super extended, and so we get a pullback, and that's where we're just at. But okay, so what we'll do, because now we've been on for probably way too long, is I will go ahead and thank everyone, definitely. Be good to each other. And this has been Beauty Bubble for Bitcoin Moving, my series called Bitcoin Moving. Look for also my series called Tick by Tick. Doing another series. I'm doing a few series, and this is just to build up the viewer count, and so that you guys understand we're going for that 10,000 lifetime viewer challenge on YouTube, so that we can get our green globes back. That would be really fun. So I'll be talking to everyone later. Make sure that you follow each other out there and look for the chat. The entire chat will be archived and put in the comment section of the video once it goes into archive. And I will also make sure that you get what else was I going to give you guys? There was something that I was going to give you guys, and now I can't remember what it was. It had something to do with, I'm looking at the chart right now, trying to think of what it would have been. I'll re-listen to the video myself, which is also another hot tip. Always go back and re-listen, even if you just have it just in the background somewhere. So I will be back later. If there's any kind of price movement that I think is significant enough and I can get back online, of course, please know that I will be doing that, and make sure you follow me to get notified. Thanks a lot, and I'll talk to everybody later. Bye. So, it takes me a moment to okay, there we go. My last chat's in the chat, and then I will be stopping the broadcast now. Bye.